everybody. Welcome to Macanu Plays, also presently live on Macanu117 on Twitch, where I'm recording this presently. Today we'll be continuing Epic the Musical. We will be doing the Underworld saga. It is only 3 songs, but we're going to be doing a fair bit of pausing, like always, as this is a reaction. This is not meant to just steal somebody else's hard work. We will be going through and subscribing to each of the animators. And just a small note for everybody. I love Epic the Musical. Absolutely love it. I've been showing it to my community. This is my favorite arc. These songs in of themselves may not be the greatest, but the emotion behind them carry very hard for me. So I'm expecting to see some tears in the chat. There's going to be some crying. I can almost guarantee somebody in chat will cry by the end of this. And I just want to give a massive shout out to Jorge, the one who made the entire musical, and each of these animators will get their own shout outs. They will have their links in the description or in the comments. I've been finding it easier to put the links to each of these videos in one comment at the bottom of the video when I first upload. I need to do that with the last video. The last video just came out, so if you guys want to check that out, it is us going through the Xerxes arc. We'll be doing this. I'll get this uploaded. I promise this one will be uploaded on Saturday, damn it. I will not get this one. I won't procrastinate the upload. I was really busy last week, and that's why it took so long. But I am joined with Quoted, as well as my live studio audience, aka chat.
Yo.
And yeah, we're going to get into this. So, Quoted, what happened in your recollection in the Xerxes, up until this point? Like, what were the standout things that you remember?
There was right. So, is Xerxes arc just no? That's just one song.
Xerxes arc was 4 songs. It was The Puppeteer. It was Wouldn't You Like? It was I could just look at it. We're right here on the list. So Xerxes arc was these 4 songs: Puppeteer, Wouldn't You Like, Done For, and There Are Other Ways. That was Xerxes arc.
Okay.
So her island is her arc, is how I've been doing it.
Yeah.
Prior to that was the Storm arc, which was after the Cyclops. So from Storm through Aeolus and then through the Poseidon boss fight.
Yeah, I'm literally avoiding looking any of this up, so I'm like trying to remember if Xerxes arc was including the last one, a Storm, but I'm guessing it doesn't in that case. Obviously the crash of the ship, there being like only 43 members of the crew alive now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Cersei turning 3 members of the crew into pigs. I believe it was only 3, but it might have been more. I think it was 3. Eurylochus not getting turned into a pig, like reporting back.
Because he was the one guy who didn't go inside the palace.
You then telling me, oh, what's the one thing that men aren't ready for after going to war? And I said woman, and I was right. And I am always right on that situation.
I mean, to be fair, you're not ready for most women. Damn! You really are, just like Eurylochus.
Hey, I have history that proves I shouldn't be ready.
That sounds terrible without context, but I will let you have that.
You agree? You have history with me.
All right, there's one quack.
No.
But as a note, yes,
and they just got entrance to the Underworld. Cersei just led them through because
she apparently has that power, right? Like she's just, oh yeah, no, I'll open a gateway for you to get to the Underworld. Go for it. I like how she's like, I'm not going to kill you, but I'll send you to the Underworld.
Yeah. Fair enough. Actually, I've got a note to say on this fact of a previous song. You know the song. You know where he's got the bag and they end up like opening the bag and it gets launched into Poseidon way back.
When they open the bag to escape Poseidon with the whirlpool thing.
When they use the bag.
When they open the bag while he was asleep. Yeah, what's up?
I didn't realize this, and I might be wrong, but I feel like they might have actually done. It might have been a good thing. Hear me out. No matter what, Poseidon was already pissed off. He was going for blood. Because they were so close to land, if they got onto land, Poseidon would have just not gone for them. He already knew where they lived. He gave his full address. He gave him the kingdom, all that jazz. So technically speaking, as bad as this might sound, that might have saved all of the kingdom from receiving the god's wrath instead of, just
Kind
the army.
of. So this song, I was gonna drop a bit of a lore bit in the middle of this song because it's one of the reasons why his crew pisses me off so very much with that incident. But this I believe is the musical that I remember, or the version I remember seeing.
Friends,
All right.
Cersei's instructions were clear.
Also, this is done by the artiste. I think this is the one. Why are the captions? Okay, well, I'm gonna turn the
I'm
closed
assuming
captions
the
off on this
artist
one.
is- Yeah.
That's not helping.
Full speed ahead until we find
But not
the
for us.
prophet. My comrades, this land confuses your mind. So no matter who we find,
Full speed ahead until we find the prophet.
good.
This is what I remember.
All I hear are screams. Every time I dare to close my eyes, I no longer dream. Only nightmares of those who've died. Nothing's what it seems.
Just gonna take a moment to acknowledge the fact that like all he wants is just to go home. That's it. He hasn't been able to sleep for a while. Even before the 10 days straight, even when he would try to sleep, he would just see all the faces of all the people he either killed or had killed in some way, shape, or form due to his actions or the actions of his crew, which he has to take responsibility for because he is the captain. At the end of the day, it is all on him. And that is how
Yeah,
he would
no.
see it as the person in charge.
I do agree. It's like PTSD is a bastard, and this is like a good example of it for which you really don't see a lot when you think about anything of the past. Like if you look at old war things, you never see anything of the after war, or they just seem fucking fine.
The reason why people don't talk about the after war is because it's usually tragic. Whenever, somebody makes it home. Like the people, like the most decorated veterans who can't live a peaceful life because they can't find peace.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
that's the
really
thing.
dark
And, like,
situation.
any of the ones that do get shown in light, obviously the rose-colored ones who, to be honest, are probably a bit of a psychopath because they aren't having issues with it. Poor
Sociopath
Genghis
more like
Khan.
than a psycho, but yeah, I hear you. The people who are already disconnected from their feelings one way or the other. But no, in a general sense, like war, there is no such thing as a peaceful war. There's no such thing as a war where you get unscathed. Even if you don't physically get maimed, it will affect your mind.
Oh, more than certainly. Especially in this
And
situation, because he's their king as well as their captain. Like, if he was just the captain, that's one thing. But he's a king who's literally in charge of all these men. If he said no to the joining in the war, I believe who was it that was going to war with Troy? Was it? He was like claiming to be the king of all Greece or something, and he
I'm
was like,
not sure.
"Fuck, I forget his
There
name."
was, I know there
It
was
was some
Hector.
weird name. Hector wasn't the king. I think he was either the
I
king's
think he was the
brother.
prince. Because they make commentary
Yeah.
about Prince Hector, so I don't actually know for sure, but that's
It's
just
the
the name
whole-
that comes in my mind.
Yeah. There's a
But
whole
yeah,
bunch of people in this story. I mean, Achilles is in relation to the story of Troy.
yes.
So fuck.
Yeah, but like, just this is your guys' warning. If you're not prepared for emotions, like, I'm sorry, you might need to click out for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, this is a guy going into hell where all the souls are
Mm-hmm.
after a war, which he
Oh
was a
yeah,
big part of.
and it gets so much worse.
And here in the underworld, the past seems close behind. This land confuses your mind.
Right here.
When does a man become a monster? 558 men.
So by that logic, there's only 42 men left. Just saying.
558 men, 600%. So yeah, 42.
And the 43 would make sense. Well, no, because
Oh,
there's the 43
wait.
underneath your command. I don't know where that, unless one of them died while they were all piggied up. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, as far as
What
it goes,
type
like
of
the
piggied up?
cells of all the people who died in the water on top of everything else, like just looking at him like, you did this.
I mean, yeah. It's the level of horror that happens with command and so forth. And not to be funny, but a lot of things like people who are good at stuff, good at being a captain, probably have a bit more connection to their people.
Oh,
He made sure they all
absolutely.
survived the war, and he probably has an increased level of
He also
guilt
calls them
because it
brothers,
was
his
decision.
brothers in command. He doesn't see himself, he doesn't actively see himself above everybody else, even though he is the captain. He does see himself as one of his men.
And it was part of the reason he had a whole fight with Athena. Like he wanted, like the strain of loss and all that in battle.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really fucking bad if he didn't connect with everyone that died.
Agreed. Captain, why would you let the Cyclops live when ruthlessness is mercy?
All I hear are screams. Every time I dare to close my eyes, I no longer dream. Only nightmares of those who died. Nothing's what it seems. Nothing's what it seems. But in the underworld, the past seems close behind. I keep thinking of the infant from that night. I keep thinking of the infant from that night.
This life is amazing when you breathe with open arms.
Had to know that was gonna come back to bite you in the ass.
I really did. I fucking couldn't.
I knew this was coming, and it still hurts.
I feel like at this point, Eurylochus should be on Odysseus' side just to stop him or knock him out, because this is some bullshit.
Yeah, no, the fact that he ends up getting approached with Polys, and they even slowed down Open Arms to make it sound more melancholy. It still sounds like Polites, but it's like hushed. But also a small side note. I wanted to bring this up to you. So when we were having that debate about who the Cyclops was talking to in the cave, I actually went to do the research a little bit, and come to find out, in the original story, he wasn't directly talking to Poseidon. What we see is him praying to Poseidon. In these interpretations, it's like he's having a conversation. But in the original story, he prays to Poseidon and tells him that nobody hurt him in that moment.
You know, that makes more sense, because obviously with a big gash where his eye was, anyone with eyes looking at him, which all of the eyes were, you know, it would be very evident.
But he was praying to his father
since
for
it was-
help, but he didn't have a target for his father until Odie decided to self-dox.
And he was on his knees
Yes.
at that point.
Yes, he
So,
was.
yeah, no, it really adds up.
I've been doing like actually looking into the lore of the original story, because that's how infatuated I got with this musical. By the way, the heartbreaking part's coming.
I assumed so.
This isn't the worst of it.
I didn't think it would be.
No matter the place where we can light up the world, here's how to start. Greet the world with open arms. Greet the world with open arms.
This hurts me.
He looks so lost.
It's so much worse.
Mom?
Right there. God, it happened again. The way he says mom, and a chill just went down my entire spine.
You can fully see, like, that's not even.
It's worse.
There is no, like, trick to it. That's an actual man just.
Do you want to know why?
Lost.
There's an actual reason for this.
Oh, you idiot.
the lore, the actual lore of the creation of this, that's his actual mother. That's Jorge's mother. He got his mother to do this part of the song.
Oh, hey, you.
His father makes his
Many
appearance in the,
words.
so
Jesus.
his girlfriend was Xerxes, which is great. Jorge's mom
I've
did
actually
did this part, and Jorge's dad will make an appearance much later.
I need a drink. Where's my which vodka? Peach, Miami, or premium?
Go
berry?
premium because you're a bougie bitch.
Need it.
Okay, so that's just a little bit of. I've been waiting to drop that lore bit on you for a hot minute. And are you ready to hate his crew a little bit?
If they say captain right now, I might join you in there hating.
No. I'm gonna play it back, and I'm gonna let the mother part play out. And after you've gotten to listen to the whole part with his mother, I'm gonna tell you a fact that's going to piss you off.
Oh God. Let's go.
That voice. It can't be.
Oh no.
Mom?
Odysseus, when you come home, I'll be waiting. Even if you're the last thing I see, I'll be
I'm right here, Mom. Can't you see? I'm waiting. I took too long
I'll always love you.
and ventured too
I'll stay
far while you were
waiting.
Bye, Mom.
And before the build up, that was the mom sequence. You doing okay over there, dude?
Mother.
It gets worse. Not the actual song part, the
Prepare
lore.
for beeps.
Yeah.
Prepare for all the quacks. Jesus, holy clown deluded to ducks.
Okay, well the ducks
That
part's gonna
was
be the
horse
question.
duck.
Yes, but I want to take a moment here. Do you want to know how she died?
If I hear she got blown over by a strong wind, I'll kill all his crew myself. Again.
Kind of. You're not far off. As mentioned in the Aeolus track, when they opened the bag, they were at the shores. His mother went to the shores to wait for his arrival. When they opened the bag, it summoned the storm that actually hit the shores and killed her. That is the actual lore in this situation. His crew opening the bag, which for the record, when you're talking about how Poseidon and all of that, I hear where you're coming from, but Aeolus was actually giving Poseidon the middle finger. This storm was what Poseidon did to make sure that Odysseus never made it home as a form of punishment. When Aeolus put all of Poseidon's storm in the bag, she gave them a get to home free card. But because they opened the bag, especially so close to the shore, the storm didn't just blow them away, it ravished the beachhead of his land. And she was sitting on the beaches waiting for him. And she was killed in the storm. See why I hate his crew?
Newfound thing. If the afterlife is a whole thing, and that whole song and story goes, and we end up meeting everyone that's ever died, and also if this story is fully to the exact, well, not exact, but, close enough to accuracy that these all events have happened, I'm killing his crew again.
Good luck with that. But yes, this is the moment where you
But I
see.
died, but God doesn't come for
So Danny Mata made a joke, and this is where Odysseus starts to stop being Odysseus and becomes Abyssius, because this is like his evil arc starts to come in. Not quite here, but this is where his brain starts to like get really dark. Like song 3 of this arc will give away exactly where his mindset goes. This is just him being completely confronted with the what's the word I want to use? The reaction to his action or inaction. His inaction, which led to the Cyclops not being killed. He also, there was no reprimanding his crew, by the way, for what they did with opening the bag. They opened the bag, betrayed him, and I guess maybe he thought, hey, most of their friends ended up dead, so maybe that's reprimands enough. I would have been okay with a scene with the hands of the person who opened the bag got cut off, just throwing it out there. But yeah,
I think at the point it would be more about the manpower required, because obviously they still have to make it home. So plan to reprimand afterwards. Maybe have Eurycles keep an eye on whoever it was.
maybe.
I do
But
agree with the idea. I feel like that should be like a scene in itself where
there
where
was a
Odysseus is
punishment.
like, that man needs to be like, I need to know where he is. I need to know what that guy does. He's not allowed to like escape punishment for
To be
this.
fair, he still doesn't know who did it, though, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's why it would be to Eurycles, because more than likely he would be awake when Odysseus fell asleep, or
Hmm.
at least should have been. To be fair, the entire fact that Odysseus had 10 days without sleep and Eurycles didn't, like try and take out control for a day, a little bit something to be thinking about. But
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
so that was the sad part, and I want you to feel this next part. We're just gonna play it from right here at the very end of this part because I agree with somebody. I wish that his voice was more like guttural in this next part, but he's such a good singer that he didn't go guttural with it. He just went amazing with it. Here you go. You can feel the buildup happening in real time.
Hi, Mom. All I hear are screams. All I hear are screams.
That's painful. But like I would love if he was just a little bit more like tortured with the scream. Like he screamed those words
Yeah,
and not just sung them beautifully.
I
Love the
do
musical,
agree.
obviously. It still
Gotta say it
hits.
does fit. It fits well enough that it doesn't need to be a scream, but if it was, it would be that little
If
bit
it was,
extra.
I'd be crying right now. Like
Yeah, yeah, no, I could imagine I'd be as well.
Every time I dare to close my eyes, I no longer dream. I no longer dream. Only nightmares of those who died. Nothing's what it seems. Nothing's what it seems. But in the underworld, your past is always close behind. Your past is always close behind. Down in the underworld.
and that was
Oh,
Underworld. Real talk, love
that
that song.
was a very emotional song,
Oh.
which I love actually, to be honest, because emotion in that song really helped.
All right, we're gonna go back to the playlist real quick. The Prophet, I don't have a specific animation lined up for. That was, like I said, there are certain ones I'd give it like. Oh wait, shit, hold up, we need to do something. I want to make sure I subscribe to that animator real fast. We're gonna just
Could have
go.
reopened last thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do
Oh, never mind.
this. I'm gonna bring this up. Please go show love to the artiste. I'm subscribing right now, and then I'm going back to this one for the playlist. And even though we didn't get a chance to watch this one, not any disrespect to them, I'm sure they did an amazing job. I'm gonna drop them a sub as well. I had an animatic in mind that I wanted to see that for that one, and I felt like that one just conveyed the emotions so well. Oh wait, who did this
All
one?
right.
Hey, the name that we couldn't say. They did really well last time, so I have faith in them this time.
Hey, nice.
So this is him finding the Prophet in the underworld, which I don't even begin to know how you find anything in the underworld, but respect.
Oh, I've got to say, by the way, one of the things I do prefer, like I like about the animatic you showed,
Yeah.
don't mind the one that we already had because it does leave a question in the air. Is the fact that there was like an actual transition into the underworld,
Yes, it's one of the reasons why I'm
like
like, this is not the
clear
one I was looking for.
transition.
Yeah.
The immediate appearing there makes kind of a bit of sense because the way it seemed from Cersei, from the previous animatic, at least, was Cersei was opening a portal in the middle of the island. So, just saying magic bullshit was the reason makes sense. but it's appreciated to have the actual transition period as well.
I like the idea. It was like, for me, my brain always perceived it as like to enter the underworld. That concoction she was mixing was more along the lines of something you would pour in front of your ship or something. Then there would be like a portal in front of wherever you were, or you put, if you like the mixture she was making, you poured into a
Very
bottle and
possible.
threw in the ocean to create the portal. That's where my brain went with it. It's like a cool idea.
It's a very plausible action. It's just difficult to like. There
Animate.
wasn't any like transition to it, so it's really nice to have the little bit of extra.
I love
And
that they
also
did
the
it
way
and
they
everything being
timed
a
it,
shade of
yes.
green as well. I want to throw that out there, that everything isn't just like grays and blacks. The fact that everything had like a green hint to it, or a green hue, it kind of makes me think of Hades' Underworld in the Hercules movies. Also
I
Kingdom
was
Hearts
thinking the
Worlds.
same. It seems like a very heavy concept. It's the color of. It seems to be the idea of the color of the soul is sort of like a turquoise green,
Yeah, I get that
turquoise to
vibe as
green,
well.
which is really nice.
So when we get to the end of musical, we are actually going to come back to the song at some point. More like there's a TikTok I'm
Is
going
this
to
your
want to show you.
favorite?
No. I like this one, but this
But
one is
I know you said
really,
there's
really
no
smartly
favorite.
done. The third song in this arc is actually my favorite of the entire arc, and that's with me loving the first one a
Oh,
lot.
okay. Well, that's quite impressive because the first one definitely has it.
Yeah, no, the third one is the moment of, okay, that I know. So for the record, technically, we've been doing it in like arcs of like different story points. This Underworld arc is the actual end of arc 1 in the story of the Odyssey, and then arc 2 is what happens from this moment on. And when we get to arc 2, I think you're gonna have a fun time with the first song for no other reason than you're not gonna understand how the hell this musical has so many different genres.
All right.
All right, so let's meet the prophet.
I am the prophet with the answers you seek. Time, I've unlocked it. I see past and future running free. There is a world where I help you get home, but that's not a world I know. What?
There it is. What? There has to be
Okay,
one
I've gotta
aggressive
say-
what per arc.
Agreed. But I've got to say, I really like how you see the like sleep deprivation in this man's eyes.
Oh yeah, no, this is a man who like he needs to do something to like just he needs to have that moment where he finally snaps and it just doesn't care anymore. Otherwise, he is going to die of sleep deprivation before he gets home.
I do want to
Hey,
point this out.
good time zone, Kier.
This man looks like Shota Aizawa from My Hero Academia. Just with shorter hair or more.
Oh, dude with the red eyes, right? Eraserhead.
Yes.
I've only seen season 1, and my brain. The only reason I remember Aizawa is because I have these TikToks that show up talking about what it must be like having Aizawa as a dad. It's from Aries' perspective, and they call him Dad Zawa. It's kind of adorable.
Oh no, the entire thing is hilarious and it is rather adorable. One of the main reasons
Yes.
I've got to say that is the scar under his right eye is the same.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it feels like there's actual direct input from it.
Well, there's a lot of anime memery, as we've already found out with this musical.
More than fair.
We were going to do the Pokemon Nuzlocke, but my Nuzlocke broke, so I need to update it, and I tried to update it, then it crashed my entire stream, so I'm like, okay, we're going to do this, and then we're probably going to do some Crab Champions or Repo. But yeah, we're recording this because I've caught up on my recordings for the YouTube playlist of our reaction. What is Pokemon Nuzlocke? Pokemon Nuzlocke is a run through of one of the Pokemon games, whichever one you want to do, and Nuzlocke basically is a challenge run. So I'm doing basic rules of a Nuzlocke, which is if a Pokemon dies, you have to set it free because technicality is death is final in a Nuzlocke. And you can only catch one Pokemon per route in the run. So in each location, you can only catch one Pokemon, and that Pokemon you were stuck with till the end. So the idea is we were going to name all the Pokemon off of members of the community, so when they died, it would be much more painful because I'm that much of a... I don't think I'm a masochist. I think it just makes the best content, I'll be honest. I am not.
You did the same thing with Ark. You were so badly upset when Crystal died. Like, for the third time.
It wasn't Crystal, buddy. The one you're thinking of is Lady Yuki. Lady Yuki was my cat.
And you also named Daphmus T-Rex. What was I called in that one? I don't think you even called me anything.
I didn't think I had the opportunity to get one that I thought was bullish enough for you.
You know what? That's reasonable.
I needed something that was like hyper aggressive that matched your energy. If anything, I might have gotten like an Alpha Raptor for you. I died in 5 seconds. Yeah, it was a rough run where everything was breaking. Need more cowbell? I've been seeing ads about the cowbell. Need more cowbell. On, weirdly enough, YouTube. Whenever I'm not like looking through, actually, no, TikTok's been doing it to me. But this is the Prophet, and Odie hates life right now for obvious reasons.
Yeah. I've got 2 things to mention. One,
Yes.
What's the cowbell? Because I immediately thought of the skull and Halo.
So I wasn't a part of when it first came out, but there was like the skit thing, and there was a bunch of actors. All I know is there's this whole reference of need more cowbell. And I will, if the TikTok ad pops up, I will send it to you. But if somebody in chat wants to like help us out a little bit here, I think it was before my time for the original.
Okay. And secondly, one of the things you said earlier about why the Prophet like always so easy to find.
Yeah.
I imagine it was probably the Prophet making it easy to find him because he knew he was getting searched for.
Probably. But still, the Underworld's got to be massive. And getting around by boat with all the souls in the water, I don't even want to imagine how much screaming you listened to for that long. Oh, God, what is happening to my stream?
More likely the Prophet, the one who made it easy.
I see a song of
Past romance.
I see the sacrifice of man. I see portrayals of betrayal and a brother's final stand. I see you on the brink of death. I see you try your final breath. I see a man
If you want to put the link to it in the Discord, that'd be cool.
who gets to make it home
Alive, but it's no longer you.
This can't be. We've suffered and sailed through the toughest of hells. Now you tell us our efforts for nothing.
Definition of don't shoot the messenger, dude. He just saw the vision. It's not his fault.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. I guess that's probably why the Prophet's dead in the first place. At what looks like a relatively young age.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody told you exactly how you were going to die, chances are you wouldn't take it very well.
The thing is, though, the thing about being a prophet, one of the powers that I think would suck the most is that you'd know if your decision to make, of telling them would be bad.
Oh,
But then you'd also know what could happen if you don't tell them, which I imagine is always worse.
I feel like my implication of being a prophet would be legitimately you would go insane. You would have to have such a disconnect mentally to be able to channel. If you were constantly seeing every path of every action in every moment, like I have anxiety with the fact that I foresee things, and not in like a prophetic sense, but in like I can examine the behaviors of something, establish what will probably happen, and then run down those like 8 different pathways in my brain of like, okay, if I do this, this will happen, this will happen, this will happen, this will happen. And I can do all of that in seconds because that's just, honestly, it's a survival mechanism. If you guys have any, history with certain types of events in your past, it's common. It's not impressive. However, if you actually know for a fact that those things will happen, not just be able to predict what you think will happen based on people's personalities, that's got to be a living hell. There we go.
I see your palace covered in red, faces of men who had long believed you're dead. I see your wife with a man who is haunting, a man with a trail of bodies. Who I see a
Oh, there's the first sign of Abyssius making his appearance. Appearance? Wow, Mac. Wow. We're not going to talk about that.
You know, that's the thing about prophets, because he could honestly just be seeing a future that is zero chance of happening, because he's just mentioning a future. That could be the future if he did let the baby live.
Hmm?
I know it probably isn't, but I love that fact about prophets.
I
He
will
could just
say
be screwing with him.
I am very much looking forward to coming back to the song after you get through the entire thing and pointing a couple of things out. And that's all I want to say on the matter.
song
Yay.
of past romance. I see the sacrifice of man. I see portrayals of betrayal and a brother's final stand. I see you on the brink of death. I see you try your final breath. I see a man who gets to make it home alive, but it's no longer
That's such a good note.
And doing it right.
This is such a well put together musical. The animatics are so well. Like the person who put this particular scene together of him falling from the cliff and the slow. Oh, it's all great. But haunting reality, be like, you got through all of this hell, just be like, hey, you're never gonna make it home. Oh my
That is-
god.
That is some bullshit.
And now he has to think. Okay.
My boy Euro, please.
This next song literally sets the stage for Act 2. Flash
Wait a
warning.
second.
Remember what I said about flash warnings? And it's by Gigi! I saw that. We're going to just give me a second here so I'll be able to zoom this in for the video. Gigi always pops off. And, oh, this is such a good song.
Yes, second, I'll be back.
So, final song of this arc. Depending on how the vibes feel, we might dive into the next arc, but we'll have it under a separate video. Because I like having these separated by arcs. So this is Monster. Like I said, it was animated by Gigi. And the next arc, I'm technically going to do smaller arcs because we're going to have a couple of big arcs coming. So the next arc is only 2 songs, how I'm breaking it up. After that, it's 3 songs. Technically, it's a 5-song arc, but the way that I could break it up story-wise, it'd be better is 2 and 3. Because
Alright,
I'll
enough.
say editing the 5-song videos, it takes a lot out of a guy.
Whatever's easiest for you, brother.
Finding an editor to help me, that would be the easiest, but we haven't gotten there yet. All right. So,
I don't have any editing software.
How has everything been turned against us? How did suffering become so endless? How am I to reunite with my estranged? Do I need to change? I'm surrounded by the souls of those I've lost. I'm the only one whose line I haven't crossed. What if the greatest threat we'll find across the sea is me?
so on that note, he is blaming himself for everything. He isn't cocky enough to think that's everybody else's fault or something. And I actually kind of like that as far as a leader perspective. He's acknowledging that in some way, shape, or form, pretty much everything has been tied to him.
Oh no, yeah, I can fully see that.
He isn't
It's 100%
delusional.
something I can. It's definitely something he can only do when he's alone with his thoughts.
Oh, absolutely.
These
Yeah.
things of self-doubt.
What if I'm the monster? What if I'm in the wrong? What if I'm the problem that's been hiding all along? What if I'm the one who killed you every time I cave to guilt? What if I've been far too kind to foes, but a monster to ourselves?
That's such a train of thought, though, legitimately, that his mercy, the fact that he has been trying to be good to everybody else, which kind of leads into ruthlessness as mercy upon ourselves, mind you. But the fact that
Yeah,
that
no.
is coming through in this particular way, I really enjoy.
It does seem like the counter argument to to that very song, or not the counter argument, but
The
the
agreement.
self-reflection of that song. Yeah.
Yeah.
What if I'm the monster?
Wait for the instrumental.
Is the Cyclops struck with guilt when he kills? Is he up in the middle of the night? Or does he end my men to avenge his friend and then sleep knowing he has done him right? When the witch turns men to pigs to protect her nymphs, is she going insane? Or did she learn to be colder when she got older and now she saves them the pain?
Like, he's making good points. I doubt the Cyclops didn't shed a single tear about splattering his men. The wound on his back and the wound in his eye, probably, but. And no, the witch already stated it as a given fact that the last time she tried to show mercy, it was taken heavily advantage of, and they suffered very heavy losses.
Hold up.
What if I'm the monster? Is the Cyclops struck with guilt when he kills? Is he up in the middle of the night? Or does he end my men to avenge his friend?
Cute sheep
and then
design.
sleep knowing he has done him right? When the witch turns men to pigs to protect her nymphs, is she going insane? Or did she learn to be colder when she got older and now she saves them the pain? When a god comes down and makes a fleet drown, is he scared that he's doing something wrong? Or does he keep us in check so we must respect him and now
no one dares to piss him off? That did kind of feel like it was more along the. This felt like a punishment, but it felt like a punishment with a lesson along the lines of, hey, you messed up, and I have a reputation to uphold, so you're gonna die.
Yeah, I do like how all these do really connect with the individual. Like, Cersei is 100% the most sympathetic. The Cyclops is a monster. Was never gonna be concerned about what he did.
Yeah. And Poseidon, why would he have regrets? He's a god.
Yes.
dares to piss him off? Does a soldier use a wooden horse to kill sleeping Trojans cause he is vile?
And he uses himself as a reference, saying that because the whole Trojan horse being a gift, and then they end up being what led to their death because they attacked while they were sleeping.
Yeah.
Does that make him a monster?
Geneva Convention.
Does it make him a monster?
Does it make
Or does he
Canadians?
keep us in check so we must respect him and now no one
Dares to piss him off.
Does a soldier use a wooden horse to kill sleeping Trojans cause he is vile? Or does he throw away his remorse and save more lives with guile? If I became the monster and threw that guilt away, would that make us stronger? Would it keep our foes at bay? If I became the monster to everyone but us and made sure we got home again, who would care if we're unjust? If I became the... Oh.
And here's the lesson. It's coming back all the way.
God damn it.
If I became the... Oh, ruthlessness is
The mercy upon ourselves.
And deep down I know this well. I lost my best friend, I lost my mentor, my mom, 500 men gone. This can't go on, I must get to see Penelope and Telemachus. So if we must sail through dangerous oceans and beaches, I'll go where Poseidon won't reach us. And if I gotta drop another infant from a wall in an instant so we all don't die, then I'll become the monster.
It's so good, and Gigi did so good on the animation. Ah!
I can't disagree. That was a perfect thing.
By the way, Kaida, this is Epic the Musical, the thing I've been uploading to the YouTube channel. We are in the Underworld arc, and this is the last song of the arc. This is him coming to the conclusion that the way that he has been in definition of this world weak. And his weakness has led to the death of a lot of people he cared about. So now he has to decide what he's going to do. And this is him acknowledging that maybe being a monster is his best bet.
I do like how obviously it wasn't interpreted, like the interpretation of what he just absorbed was just a Spartan soldier. Not exactly a Spartan soldier, but like the Greek image
I
of
think
a
it was
soldier.
him absorbing himself on the night that he murdered the child. He's been trying
Yeah,
to repress
no,
this part of
I
him.
agree. I kind of actually think it's a little bit of like similar to, you know how he had the whole thing with Athena where it was like a warrior of the mind. That was him reabsorbing the warrior of the mind.
Yeah. For context, Kaida, Epic the Musical is a musical that is done in 40 songs. However, the musical got super popular. Popular. You can talk, Mac. Try again. It got really, really popular. And then animators created these animatics for each song to capture the feelings of the songs and create this whole thing. And it was actually kind of cool because the guy who made the musical was talking about, they're like, you should do the musical as like a live action performance or a Broadway show. He's like, no, because what if we did a circus of Epic the Musical? And I'm like, oh, that would be cool. That would be so cool. Epic the Musical is a circus show. That'd be legit.
You know
But
what? I'd
yes,
see it.
on my channel on Macanew Plays, we've been reacting to this arc by arc, and this is the end, technically the end of arc 1 of the actual story. Arc 2 starts with "Suffering" is the name of the next song.
God, how many are we in?
Quote it. You are 17 in out of 39 on this playlist, 40 in total. 39 on this playlist because
not
they're
even halfway through. Fuck.
Well,
This
wait,
is
hold up.
emotional.
No, my bad. Let me look. No, wait, I'm wrong. We're on 19. With technically this is 20. This is the halfway point. Hence why this is Act 1, Act 2 after this.
Okay.
This is the end of the halfway point.
Thank God. I'm already emotionally drained.
Bud. Oh, buddy.
I don't believe I'm going to be emotionally available for the next one.
Yeah,
Or
so
I'll be dead.
I just want to play back this rant real quick because I love this.
This is mercy. I lost my best friend, I lost my mentor, my mom, 500 men gone. This can't
So
go on.
good.
Let's get to see Penelope
He has
and
one goal.
Telemachus. So if we must sail through dangerous oceans and beaches, I'll go where Poseidon won't reach us. And if I gotta drop another infant from a wall in an instant so we all don't die,
Then I'll become the monster.
I will deal the blow, and I'll become the monster.
God, this animator popped off. Gigi, I love you.
Survive the monster lurking deep below. I must become the monster, and then we'll make it whole. Penelope, Hopelessness is mercy upon ourselves. I'll become the monster.
That is fantastic.
Do you see why that's my favorite out of the 3? I love the first one. Don't even get me wrong, but you can see where the rest of the musical is going because of this song.
Yeah, and you know what's really kind of cool about it is that this is exactly what the prophet was saying.
Yeah, he wouldn't become.
It
He
won't be
would,
the same person.
no, it wouldn't be you. Somebody will make it home, but it won't be you. So, for the sake of,
Since he was
we're going to
naive
go
and
ahead and
rude,
do
yeah.
what we did last time. You got 3 songs today so far. What was your favorite, and how are you holding up?
Me. Okay. I feel like I had the most emotional, like, dragging me through the pits of burning corals in the first one. Can't deny. That might have been partially because of the lore drop, to be fair.
Yeah, I have been Whoops, didn't mean to pause that. I have been holding on to that nugget of information the entire time we've been doing this. I have had that
can't
information in
say,
my brain.
I appreciate the, like, hell on.
I have
that
more
said,
lore
no-
that's coming up here real quick that's going to piss you off even more. But for the time being, like, I'm enjoying your natural reaction.
Appreciate it. This most recent, like, that song was definitely like seeing all the elements. I did see the elements in the previous song where they were looking for the prophet, but this song I felt the elements a bit more in, where it was like becoming the monster.
I want to point out one more thing in the instrumental during that line where he picks up. Where is it?
Let's go
God,
back.
this can't go on. I must get to see Penelope.
Right
and
about
tell them
here.
because
Just
so
wait.
if we must sail through dangerous oceans and
His whole shtick is the guitar, right? The fact that right in
Yeah.
this moment you hear the electric guitar in the background just is amazing to me as well. It captures the shift in his personality and perspective so well.
Yeah, I do also appreciate how it looks like he's like every other time there's been any kind of like connection with him, it does look at the full crew. This is him on his own.
Yeah, no.
That's a big thing to
His
him.
goal is to get home. F everything else.
That's true. In a bit,
Exactly.
like, not entirely, but it's a bit in his mind.
No, kind of where he's at right now, he does not give a shit. Like, that's not to spoil anything
That's
for the
what-
future. He's at a point now where he has one goal, and to be fair, his crew has f***ed him on that goal pretty severely.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
He now knows that he is on a timer to get back to his wife because he still thinks that there's a chance there's another man that's going to be there. So that's one reason he's rushing, because he doesn't think what we are thinking about it. The person who gets home is going to be somebody different. He doesn't realize that's him. He thinks that there's another man like at her doorstep, which obviously isn't going to go well. So how we're going to break this up is I'm going to go ahead and say that we are going to end this arc here as we should. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. Please click one of these two videos. And if you'd be so kind, like and subscribe. Take care.